Hey, welcome to Biggest Gospel Show. And as usual, we have such a mighty, mighty powerful word for you. Today, I would like to remind you that you are in God's big plans. Now, where do I start? My best friend, Samagala Chamanya, died on April 7th, 2021, just a few weeks ago. But I'm still grateful for so much that we're able to do, so much we're able to share. Now, 2 weeks ago, I attended a fellowship, and at this fellowship, another member from a different church had been invited to come and give a speech, or to preach and whatnot. So his preaching says he talks about how Uganda's COVID situation can't be explained. The hospitals are empty, vaccines were brought, but the vaccines are seeming useless, like right now, and people are not falling sick. We're hearing about sad situations in many different countries out there, and so he just shared and said, I think, okay, he just said, before lockdown, I heard about a church. He said, I heard about a church that used to pray 24/7, 24 hours, 7 days. Like 2 a.m. someone ends and goes back to sleep or whatnot, and then 3 a.m. for the whole hour there's someone on the watch praying. And the Lord revealed it to me, the church was talking about. Now I attend Worship Harvest. I go to serve at Worship Harvest Ministries International, and God revealed more stuff to me that day. Well, we had a 24-hour clock. We signed up for different hours, and we had to pray on ground at Worship Harvest, the main branch, which is Nalia, for those who are in Kampala in Uganda. So God took me back where it all began. In 2016, Worship Harvest is a big building now, but back then only, can I say, maybe an eighth had been constructed only, or because it was the auditorium, and then more parts were added on. More, the building kept on increasing and many floors and everything. Me and Sam used to meet intentionally to pray on different days within the week. That was around 2016, 2017. Now we could meet where the finished construction, or if construction debris interrupted that place, we would choose another location to go to, still within the building, and pray. Some always insisted that we be on the ground. Now, fast forward, we've been doing this for over 3 years, 2016, 2017, 2018, late 2016 mainly. 23rd December 2018. I remember where the auditorium covers the big roof now. Back then, the auditorium was existing, and then the slab had been constructed and all around, but then the roof hadn't come. And I remember we were praying on the ground, and then we declared everything. We had our personal petitions, but then of course at the end we used to pray for the church as well, because, well, it's where we're meeting to pray. It's the most convenient place we would find around the neighborhood to meet and pray for free. Come on, guys, we're not being charged over what no, like the one invitation we used to just come, and for that we're so grateful. 1 year later, December 20th, I don't know whether it was 22nd or 23rd, 2019, the auditorium is now complete. The roof is over, the entire roof. 3,000 seaters are waiting. And then Pastor Moses Mokisa, the vision bearer, asks me and Sam to MC the first service. That's the first ever service to happen in the main full 3,000 seat auditorium. And Sam revealed it to me later, that God was honoring us for being intentional and praying on the ground for all these years. I was like, wow, I didn't see that coming. After the first Sunday service, next service was Christmas Eve service, which was happening the day before Christmas. Pastor Moses still insisted that we hosted as MCs. Wow, okay. Then still, You know, the 31st December to 1st January prayers, we still were called to host. So someone was just telling me, I don't think it's a coincidence. God reminded me about Genesis 8:22, which says, as long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest shall not cease. You realize that we were sowing. The ground what we're praying from is like we're sowing seeds right there, and then the seeds, the garden recognized who was planting these seeds. I don't know if you get me. Um, let me clarify it a little bit more. Shortly before the main that service, Sunday service, the week before, uh, Pastor Moses opened up. He advised we start doing 24-hour prayers round the clock. Praying on the ground, on the ground, on the ground, on the ground. Meanwhile, remember, me and Sam, wherever we needed to meet, he insisted that we be on the ground. Anyway, so we signed up for different hours, midnight, 1 a.m. Those who could be able to come, then some of us who couldn't, we did those during day hours. And I remember my prayer, I was like, is this going to end once we finish the Sunday service? I just prayed to God, and like, God, I wish it could go on. So after the Sunday service, Pastor Moses, I remember I don't know whether it was him or the pastor in church. They suggested we shifted it till I think 31st January or something like that. Then before we knew it, it was now a daily thing of praying, like until indefinitely without stopping. And before you know it, that was the late 2019. 2020 comes, and then none of us saw the pandemic coming. Here we have it. We've been praying, and then of course, even if lockdown came, many other countries have had second lockdowns and third lockdowns and fourth lockdowns and winters and stuff. But Uganda's situation can't be explained. In that same time, Pastor Moses received a word as he confesses, as he was listening to many Kenneth Copeland's devotions and podcasts, that Uganda would be a disease-free zone. And indeed we were. None, we just can't explain the whole COVID situation. When that person came for that fellowship and shared about a church that was praying 24/7, and then God made it known that it was us, he still mentioned the story how we began with Sam way back, and he just said, you're part of my big plans. A whole nation has been saved out of that. Like, we can't explain it. Yes, we've had a few. I mean, we can't even dare compare to the millions of people who've been dying outside the world. And yes, we grieve with those who lost their loved ones. But I'm just sharing what came to mind when those words were spoken, when the testament was being, shared. That God is going to ask you to do something. Me, obviously, I thought, we're meeting for our own things, but then you're seeing one thing is leading to another, to another, to another. Maybe God has asked you to do something that you're not understanding or you don't feel comfortable with, but you just choose to do it. Yes, I'm asking you, please don't give up. Don't drop it as yet. You just don't know what God is doing. I've started on January 3rd, 2021. God instructed me to start a prayer call where we meet at 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. So I just began doing it. I don't know what I don't know what his end goal is, but all I know is God told me to start the prayer call. And from January to May, it's been 5 months. It's been 5 months, and it's been going on. It's been going on and on. I just can't explain why. The only reason God told me was keep on praying. Now, remember me and Sam, when we met praying on the ground for all those hours, we just didn't know what I was doing. But then in the end, you end up realizing that God was orchestrating the saving of a nation, and you see how the big picture comes in. So maybe God is asking you to take small steps, simple things, and maybe you're finding it hard to obey, you're finding it hard to follow through, but I'm asking you, please follow through, because God has you in his big plans. For he says in Jeremiah, the scriptures disappeared, you guys. I don't know the great plans for you. Plans to bring you prosperity. Jeremiah 29, 20. God, no, this is unbelievable. I don't know the plans for you, plans to bring you prosperity and not disaster. So you're part of God's big plans. And Jeremiah, thanks, Mama Eunice. I don't think it's Jeremiah 33. Is it 20? No, you guys. No, this is unacceptable. I can't prepare and then I forget. This is let me see, Jeremiah 27. I don't know the great plans for you. 29:11. Yes, 29:11. I know the thoughts that I think towards you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and hope. He has you in his great big plans. I don't think God would come up with a small plan. So God has given so many of us instructions to follow through, and I'm praying you may follow through indeed. Obey them. You may not see the big picture in the end. I'm imagining if Prophet Samuel refused to go and anoint David, what would have come of it? I don't know. Let me give an example. Maybe John the Baptist. I'm just giving an example. I'm just thinking out loud. Imagine God had instructed John the Baptist to go out in the wilderness and he didn't feel like going. Thank you, guys. Yes, Jeremiah 9:11. And he didn't feel like going. He would have missed baptizing Jesus Christ. And John the Baptist, if you notice, has been preparing, in the desert for all these years, for all these hours, for all, like his entire life, he's been in a desert. But yes, as a prophet, but if he had walked out of that path, like from the very beginning, none of us would have known him as the person who baptized Jesus. And in that very moment, the anointing comes and sits on Jesus, whereby he goes out for his powerful ministry for the 3 years after his 30th year. So there are small things God is going to ask you to do, and I pray you are faithful enough to follow through, because it may seem small, but it's a very, very big plan on God's other side of things. So that's what I had to share today. God bless you, and God's got you. Bye bye.